Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Living BDSM, where we help Kingsters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. To have a happy, healthy power exchange relationship, it helps to avoid people giving off red flags.
Absolutely.
Waving them like they're in the color guard from marching band. Former band geek. I could not. No, nobody let me.
You couldn't.
I would have hurt myself and everybody around me.
Yeah, you would have.
Which, you know what? That's what red flags do. They hurt us all. So I tried, when I put this list together with JB's approval and blessing, to keep it to 5, just to keep this sort of like our 5 things, but it's 5 red flags. Mm-hmm. There's so many more than this.
Yeah, this list, I mean, it does not cover all of them.
Yeah.
Some of the top ones, I think.
Sure, and I tried to steer away from some of the most common ones, like telling you to call them by a title from the moment you meet and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we have talked about red flags several times in the past.
Yes, we have.
Both for dominants and submissives. Doms are not the only ones who give off red flags. Thanks. Submissives can do it too. I would say that this list can happen on either side of the slash.
Sure.
Certainly the behavior is more common in dominants maybe than submissives, but it doesn't really matter. It's a people thing, okay?
Number 1, if and then statements.
So I didn't know what else to call this, but here's what it sounds like. Well, if you were a real submissive, you'd not use your safe word. You wouldn't have limits. You'd let me do whatever I want. If you really cared about me, you'd do a thing you don't want to do a thing that makes me uncomfortable. This is emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
It's pure manipulation. It's a making you doubt yourself because they're not getting what they want, even though it's something you want. Yeah, no. Bad behavior all around. Don't do that.
Okay, brings us to number 2, looking for loopholes.
So this is not about being a brat or sassy like somebody here right now who sometimes finds loopholes and, uses them to her benefit. We are talking about loopholes in boundaries or limits. And the one that comes to mind most quickly and most prominently for me is from our episode where we responded to Reddit questions.
Yes.
And the person who said, my known and stated hard limit was don't bite me. Then in the throes of hot, good, fun sex, they were like, do what you want to me. And their partner took that opportunity to violate a known and clearly stated hard limit as a loophole.
Yeah.
You said I could do what I wanted. No. I am not impressed when somebody goes looking for loopholes, especially if it's you don't want to do a thing, and again, it goes back to manipulation, but I'm going to try and find a way to get you to do this thing by finding the thing you didn't say or you never told me, or technically it could be considered. It's manipulation again.
Yeah.
And it's a violation of consent.
It's an abuse of trust.
Mm-hmm. It is all of the bad things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 3, lies of omission.
So I want to be clear here. You get to have privacy. You get to have things that you don't necessarily share right away, maybe even ever. We all get to have that. There's a difference between privacy and secrecy. A lie of omission, when it's most grievous and becomes a red flag, is when it's pertinent information that you need to know to make a decision and to figure out how you feel and to consent fully. And when you find out, they go, well, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
Most recently, we got an email from somebody who said, they listed all kinds of things that were problematic to me. And one of the things they said was, this person did not tell me that they were married, which was a problem to me. And when I confronted them after I found out, they said, well, you never asked. Things like marital status, I shouldn't have to ask. You should volunteer. And if you're not volunteering that pertinent information that would allow me to make an informed decision, then what else aren't you telling me? And that's going to be a lot of things most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Number 4. Not sharing biographical information.
So this one is going to sound obvious, and it's going to sound like the last one, but only because of the example. And most of us are meeting online for the first time. Some of us, now that the plague is kind of lifting a little bit. Let's be clear, there's a plague out there. But you might go to a munch now. You might go to the dungeon. So when you very first meet somebody, you don't have to tell them all of your real information, where you live, how old you are, your real name. We often start with scene names and Twitter handles and whatever else when we first meet somebody.
True.
But once you decide, hey, I'm going to move forward and see if this is a thing, biographical information should be shared within reason and within your personal boundaries. And this is the example that comes across a lot. I see this a lot in our inbox. Well, I've been in this online DS relationship for 8 months, and they've never told me their real name. Is that a problem? I would say it's a problem if you have given them your real name and information, if they know details about you that you don't know about them. If two partners mutually go, you know what, we're going to keep this purely online and let's just make this a role play fantasy, and yes, it's real, but it's purely online, I think that's okay because it's a mutual decision. But if you're saying, my name is Mary Sue and I live in this town and this is my job and this is how old I am, and the other person is not giving that information back, that's a problem. Yeah. No, that's not normal. Yes, no. That's a red flag. What are they hiding?
Exactly. All right. And that brings us to our number 5, temporary ghosting.
So I think we all know ghosting is bad, even if we have done it. It's not great. This, and I called it this because I don't know what else to call it. You've had a play scene and it was great, and you saw them for a date or for the weekend, and now you haven't heard from them for 3 days or a week or longer. And even worse, it's temporary because they slide back into your DMs or your text messages and act like they haven't been gone. Worse, you've been messaging. Hey, where you at? Hey, I had a great time. Hey, can we talk? Hey, I'm struggling here. And you're getting nothing.
Or even I have heard many times of people who are in long distance relationship, online, and they are part of a dynamic, and the little S will do their routine, whether it's to say good morning, send a picture, do something, and they get nothing.
Now, let's be clear. There's a caveat to sometimes you cannot respond to a message in a timely manner for a valid reason. This used to happen to us when we were LDR. One of us would get stuck in a meeting, and we had a very set time in the day we knew we would talk. And the meeting came up out of nowhere, and we didn't have an opportunity to say anything. That's fine.
Yeah, and meetings were, at that time, meetings were a regular part of my day.
Same.
Most of the time they were planned. I would let her know, look, I'm going to be in a meeting. Probably going to be most of the day, not going to be able to respond.
Right. It should not be an expectation that you are in constant communication all of the time, no matter what's going on in your life. Right. But if you know that there's going to be something that keeps you from being able to respond or keeps you from getting messages like you normally would, you have an obligation to say something ahead of time. Hey, I know we normally do XYZ on Monday, but I have to take a business trip and I'm going to be on a flight all day. If you're not giving that basic information to put somebody at ease, it's irresponsible at best. It's a red flag at worst. Why are you ghosting? Where are you going?
Yeah.
Do you have another life? Are we dealing with you haven't shared biographical information and a lie of omission at the same time? Are you with your other family and you just didn't tell me? Like, come on, what's the reason? And I think that this one to me is the most obvious, and yet I get a lot of messages, often wrapped up in several of these other red flags we've gone through. And then the question at the end is this normal behavior? Well, I don't know about normal because, y'all, we're kinksters. Is anything we do, quote, normal by societal standards? It's more typical than I wish it was.
Right.
It is unacceptable. Simply because we all have the right, regardless of our role in the dynamic, regardless of the fact that BDSM is not part of societal norms, we all have the right to basic respect and care.
It's true.
Simple as that. I will say when it comes to these red flags, if it's one red flag and not a serious safety concern or violation of consent, I might go, maybe it's a problem of education. Maybe they're think they're living the fantasy of BDSM and not the reality.
Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I can give somebody the benefit of the doubt that red flag does not make them dangerous and still not want to have a relationship with them. You get to have that boundary too. However, once you start bundling 2, 3, 4 more red flags, that's a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
You're dealing with somebody who does not value your consent, that does not value your boundaries, that does not value you as a human. And I don't care what your dynamic is in the relationship, and I don't care who's got the power and who doesn't. None of us deserve that.
No.
We deserve partners who will be honest with us, who have integrity, who are willing to earn our trust, who will say the hard thing, even if it means that we make a decision that they don't like and have to end a relationship. And if they can't provide that, what are we doing here? And I kind of don't care how good the sex is and how good the kink is. That's my personal opinion. I wave a red flag and I'm probably gone. Like, I got trust issues, and I lean into those trust issues in those situations. So this was just 5 red flags. I mean, like I said at the top, we didn't even hit some of the most common that you hear about all the time.
Yeah.
If you out there have come across other red flags that we didn't mention here, because there are a lot, drop those in the comments so that somebody who's got these questions can see what we said, but also see what others have seen. And sometimes they're really obvious, and sometimes they're a little bit more insidious, and they're subtle, and they can have you questioning, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Is this real? Is this bad? Is this part of the power dynamic? In general, if it's about your sense of safety and boundaries and consent and happiness in the relationship, no, it's not okay.
No.
Doesn't matter if it's a small red flag or a big one. So I think that's it. Like I said, drop your additional red flags that you've seen in the comments below. And yeah, that's us for this time. If you enjoyed this video, we love a thumbs up. If you want more of it, please consider subscribing. If you
And
do,
after you subscribe, ring that bell so you get updates of new content.
and now Ring That Bell's in my head, the song, if you know, you know. And if you enjoy this enough to want to help us do more of it and get perks you can't get anywhere else, join us on Patreon, patreon.com/KaylaLords. Bye.
Bye.